Hello, I'm John Felsavari, talking to you about data structures, specifically TXT files, CSV files, and XML files. So, data structures versus data types. Data type is how the data is being stored in the sense of what it looks like, the format of the data. So the data could be something like a string, which is text-based, numerical, letters and all sorts of things. Character is just a single letter or number, okay? You might use a character if you are ordering a meal, for example, small, medium, large. You might just store the S for small, for example. Integer, whole number, Boolean, true, false. So it's just, the type of the data. The data structure is how the data and the data types are being stored, okay? You've got your TXT example here, which is basically, if someone tells you they're giving you a TXT file, you don't know what formatting it's going to have. So you have to look at the TXT file, and maybe you can work out what it looks like, and maybe you can get a program to work with it, but probably not, okay? So TXT, not a lot of formatting, not a lot of structure, okay? The other examples we're going to go through are your CSV, XML, or just a plain file like that, okay? So you can see here, this is library.txt, opened in Notepad, and this is library with no file extension, okay? Looks exactly the same. In other words, the .txt just tells you it's unstructured data, okay? If you don't have it, maybe it's structured, maybe it's not. Maybe it's actually a CSV, and you've just lost the extension. You don't know until you try and open it. So XML, basically it looks like this. You've got your prologue at the top, which identifies it as being an XML file, okay? Then you go through and you've got your different fields here, okay? This is what it looks like when you open it in a Notepad. And then if you open it in something like Excel, Excel will make it a bit more readable for you, and it will categorize them into the different columns, okay? Just a really important point about the prologue is that top line. It was in the 2018 exam. You only got the mark if you said that XML files were identifiable by the prologue, which is this top line here. If you said it was the .xml in the 2018 exam, you did not get the mark. Okay, CSV files, basically you open it in Notepad and you can see it's just the data is separated by commas. The values are separated by commas, okay? So in Notepad it looks like this. You open it in Excel, and Excel understands the structure and puts it in nicely like this, okay? So, TXT, CSV, XML are files, okay? The benefits of files is that they can be updated, okay? And the program will understand those changes and update those changes into the program. You don't have to edit the program code when you're dealing with those files. You can just edit the data that's in those files. Files can be opened by many different programs for reading all at the same time, but they can only be opened by one program for editing, okay? So that's why in some programming languages you see it opens a file and it closes the file. If the file is not closed, the next file won't be able to open it, or you might get some corruption, different errors like that, okay? So an array is a data structure as well, okay? It stores a list of data. It only stores one data type though, okay? So multiple arrays can be used to store multiple fields. So again, this is the same data we've seen with the CSV and the XML. And this time we've created 3 separate arrays to store it, okay? We've stored them all as string. Again, book ID, even though they're numbers, we don't want to do any calculation to them, so we're going to leave it as a string, okay? If we were calculating something, we might want to do it as an integer or as a double. An associative array, okay, is a list of paired data. It pairs a key with a value, okay? So for example, book ID of 101 has a value of programming and other adventures. Okay? In VB, this is what it looks like. Okay, so you're creating books as a dictionary. Dictionary, associative array, basically the same thing. It's that key value pair. Alright, you can see that's the key, there's the value. Okay? And so for example, you put a message box and you're going to show what's stored in the key 101. And it comes up, programming and other adventures. That's it. Thank you.